One of the things about exploration and research is that there really isn't a definitive end to that process. The technology constantly changes, the techniques constantly change, and I think that that's the value of doing what we're doing in Yellowstone Lake. My name is Dave Lavalvo, and I am the president of the Global Foundation for Ocean Exploration. The Global Foundation for Ocean Exploration is essentially an engineering group that develops technology that basically supports both ocean and inland lake research and exploration. So for the project, we wanted to go in and look at Yellowstone Lake as a system, as opposed to studying just one piece of the system.
The primary goal of the project, which we call the HDY Lake Project, which stands for the Hydrothermal Dynamics of Yellowstone Lake, is to understand how all the different volcanic, tectonic, and climate processes are affecting the lake floor hydrothermal systems.
We wanted to try to take the various pieces of the puzzle and see how everything interacted. And that was probably one of the first times that that's really ever happened in Yellowstone Lake.
And one of the really great things about this project was that we had access to the research vessel Annie and the remotely operated vehicle Yogi. It's really important to understand just how important Annie is to our ability to do science in Yellowstone Lake.
What makes Annie tremendously unique is its control system. It's got a computer-controlled thruster system that allows it to stay right where I put it. I can just press a button and the computer will take over the control of that vessel, and using thrusters, it'll keep it right where it is.
So having that ability to really precisely position itself on the lake, park itself, move in precise ways, makes Annie a really special research vessel for working on Yellowstone Lake. Then of course Yogi, kind of the star of the show.
So why did we build Yogi when lots of companies build ROVs? The real answer is you just simply can't find an ROV with as many tools and technologies built in such a small, compact package that Yogi offers. And that's what we built.
What Yogi gives a scientist is the ability to have this dexterous manipulation capability. So for example, we needed to deploy sensors in these hydrothermal vents, but these hydrothermal vents, you know, it's the size of a silver dollar or something. It's pretty much impossible unless you have a tool or an instrument like Yogi, and the engineers, they train on it, become pros on it, so that, you know, if you tell them, would you please put this piece of equipment right there, they can do it. And so having that ability, that dexterous manipulation capability that Yogi brings is absolutely essential for the science that we're doing. So we have a range of scientists working on the project, and they have some really unique equipment that they developed.
One of the sensors that we used was the long-term chemical sensor. It essentially is a unit that we take down with the robot, and it's programmed to take a physical sample out of that hot water vent on a certain interval over time.
It's left on the lake floor for periods of a year or longer and continuously measuring the chemical composition and temperature of the fluids.
One of the other sensors that we used on the HDY Lake project was this long-term temperature probe.
We deploy a 1 meter long heat flow probe that can penetrate into the lake bottom and measure the thermal gradient.
and we left several probes on the bottom, only to come back a year later and then pick them up. And then we had this gradient of fluctuation, not only over a distance of almost a meter into the bottom, but over a course of a year.
There's a team from the Woodshole Oceanographic Institution, and we're using technology developed for the ocean to deploy seismometers on the floor of Yellowstone Lake. And one of the interesting things that we found is when the wind blows and creates waves on the lake, those waves actually create seismic energy in the earth beneath the lake. So one of the things that we did was we deployed these seismometers. You could think of it as like an antenna to detect these seismic waves and to track how fast they're moving across a hydrothermal field.
The one thing that makes doing research in Yellowstone so fascinating and so valuable is the constantly changing technology. The first time that I brought an underwater robot into Yellowstone Lake was around 1985 or 1986. There's so much more we can do with the technology today than what I did in the early days. And I think that that's going to continue. I think as long as the curiosity is there, we will always learn more and more about Yellowstone Lake.